And we're going to check on the latest business news now for you on the programme. Back to coronavirus, in fact, because more companies are warning of the effects that the coronavirus outbreak is having on their sales. And our business editor, Stephen Carroll, is here to give us all the details.
Stu, these warnings coming thick and fast now as companies report their financial results and look at their outlook for the coming months ahead. The drinks giant Diageo now saying the virus will knock around 240 million euros off their profits for this year. The company slashing its earnings forecast for 2020. It owns brands including Guinness, Smirnoff Vodka and Johnnie Walker Whiskey. Diageo says that the closure of bars and restaurants in China, as well as the cancellation of major events, has caused significant disruption to its business. It's not expecting things to pick up until at least the end of March. Meanwhile, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics has warned that if the virus becomes a pandemic, a global recession is likely. In the absence of concrete data, economists are increasingly forecasting a significant impact to major economies. Even if the spread of the virus is under control by the spring, Moody's is still expecting significantly lower growth for China and for the United States. Those are the fears that have rattled investors in recent days. The markets starting the day in the red again in Europe. Travel companies leading the falls as we see all the major markets turn into the red. The Frankfurt DAX down by 0.9%. The low-cost airline EasyJet in London, it's down 3%. It's had a terrible week. Shares down 17% on Monday. Diageo, after its warning that we just heard about, down 1%. One bright spot in France, though, is the car maker PSA, which owns the Peugeot brand. Its shares opened up almost 2% after the company reported record profits for last year. In Asia, we had similar negative sentiment on the markets. That had come from the lead on Wall Street on Tuesday. Nikkei in Tokyo down by 0.8% in trading. One of the companies suffering there is the ad agency Dentsu. It's a company that's heavily involved with the Olympic Games. Its shares now at a 7-year low over fears that the event could be cancelled. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, the government there is taking drastic steps to try and boost its recession-hit economy. It's going to pay 10,000 Hong Kong dollars, or around 1,200 euros, to each of the city's permanent residents, at a total cost of around 14 billion euros. The measure unveiled by Hong Kong's financial secretary as part of their annual budget. The city's economy has suffered from the recent pro-democracy protests, trade tensions with the US and the coronavirus outbreak. Hong Kong will pay the money from its massive financial reserves. Now, the boss of Disney is saying goodbye to the top job in the Magic Kingdom. Bob Iger is stepping down as chief executive of the entertainment giant after 15 years in the role. It was a surprise move. He'll now take up the role of executive chairman, focusing on the company's creative side. Aaron Ogunkeye reports.
After delaying his retirement 4 times, Walt Disney's Bob Iger finally relinquishes the keys to the Magic Kingdom. Iger, who is expected to retire in 2021, said his decision to step down early would allow him to focus on the creative side of the business.
In thinking about what I want to accomplish before I leave the company at the end of 21, getting everything right creatively would be my #1 goal. I could not do that if I were running the company on a day-to-day basis.
Walt Disney's chief executive for 15 years, Iger oversaw some of the company's most successful endeavors. The company acquired Pixar, Marvel, the Star Wars production company Lucasfilm, and most recently the entertainment assets of 21st Century Fox. Under Iger's leadership, Walt Disney also expanded its activities in China, opening a theme park in Shanghai in partnership with the Chinese government. His latest venture was to counter streaming giant Netflix with the creation of Disney's streaming platform, Disney+, a project for which he extended his tenure as chief executive. Though demand exceeded expectations, causing launch day complications, 3 months later, the platform now has a comfortable 28 million subscribers. Following his announcement, Iger was immediately replaced by Bob Chapek, who has led Disney's park service since 2015.
Finally, for me, the music industry is partying like it's 2006. Recorded music sales in the United States jumped in 2019 to more than $11 billion. That's the highest level in 13 years. The market boosted by a jump in streaming subscriptions, where revenues rose by 20%. Music streaming now accounts for 80% of all music sales in the US, and it's bringing the total figure back to the era of peak CD. How many CDs left?
I've got a few. I can't say I ever actually play any of them, but they're there.
They're just there to gather dust.
Well, exactly, yeah. Otherwise, you've got nothing to dust. Thank you very much, Stephen. Stephen Carroll with the Business on France 24.